Hello everyone, it is your boy Winster and I am back at it again with another video. I hope that you are having a phenomenal day, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. Thank you for everything that you do. Shout out to my YouTube channel members, of course, as always. Shout out to Devin Bender, Anthony Looney, Stain Young, Wymie, Corey, Thomas Mead, and Leo. Thank you to every single one of you guys. I really appreciate the support. For those wondering what perks you get when you become a channel member, you guys get early content to all my videos. You guys get shoutouts on every full video. And on top of that, you guys can schedule games with me on Master Duel, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro to help you deck build, test, or just casual fun. So please consider joining. While you're at it, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. That way you guys can stay up to date with all the fabulous content that drops on this channel. Be sure to check out the description box. I have very active TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, and Discord. Come and join the community. Bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh players, hundreds of us, so be sure to join in and have some fun. Okay, so today we're going to be making a hand trap tier list after YCS Anaheim and Konami dropped a ban list, and that was crazy. I'm really excited that they dropped that. It really shook up the meta. Even though I definitely think that the ban list was a little underwhelming, it really shook things up. And I think it's just because of multiple situations. We got the ban list, of course. We got a new set dropping, and that means that we got new players coming to the field, and then we got old heads on the way out, like Snake Eyes. So today we're going to be making that tier list to help you prepare for this new format that we're in, give you some of my thoughts and opinions on the matter. But let's get started. And this is our tier list. These are all the wonderful hand traps that could make or ruin someone's day. Disregard the 2 copies of Fantasia down here. I always forget that there's freaking 2 copies of this card in my computer. But we're going to go ahead and break everything down. The ones that I have included are ones that I personally think are somewhat meta relevant. And some of them, I just like the card. But we're going to go ahead and go one step at a time here. We're going to get started on Ghost Mourner. I definitely think Ghost Mourner is a very powerful card, just like Effect Veiler and Infinite Impermanence. And I think it has more space in this current format than it did in previous ones. The reason being because you could throw hand traps at Snake Eyes and it just wouldn't stop the deck in any kind of way. They'll just end on some sort of monster to go into Hita to steal the Ash that you use. I definitely think that Ghost Mourner does really well, especially with Yugioh running around, and then you got the Fiendsmith cards. So because of that, I definitely think it's in a pretty high tier. It does suck that it's once per turn, unlike Impermanence Effect Veiler, but it also burns your opponent, so it does help you out at least in time. Ash Blossom. I mean, this card is extremely powerful, and I think it just skyrocketed to the tippy top in my personal opinion. The reason being is because Ash is not as popular anymore, where you used to throw multiple hand traps at Snake Eyes and they just still end on 2 monsters, go into Hita, and then continue to combo off using your stuff, which is freaking crazy. So it did hurt, and you had to make sure when you did Ash a Snake Eyes player to do it in the right spot. But now that they're not the best, I definitely think Ash is very good. On top of that, it's just really good in almost every single matchup. It's good against the Rogue. It's good against the top decks. It's really good in this current format where people are just throwing Fiendsmith into anything. Fiendsmith Yugioh, Fiendsmith Cash. These cards are extremely powerful, and this card could stop the Requiem, and then they don't have a monster on field. It also is just really good in my personal opinion, and because of that, I think it's one of the best hand traps in this current format. Spooky Dogwood. I personally feel that Spooky Dogwood, at least in my opinion, should always have a presence in the format. It's such a powerful card in a game where life points are probably the most important thing when it comes to time. However, properly used, this card is just a death sentence, right? If you shotgun it too early, your opponent just doesn't summon anything and then passes, and then there goes half your life points, which is crazy. So you have to make sure that your opponent's already activated a summon and this be chain 2. That way you could resolve, and then your special summon, then you get the life points. So it's definitely something to consider. Because of that, I definitely think it's going to be in B tier. I think it's strong and properly used, game breaking. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. I freaking love the art on this card. Probably next to Ghost Mourner is one of my other favorite arts, but yeah. Unfortunately, this card is doing nothing in the format, has no presence, and if you're just trying to stun your opponent and just burn their extra deck, I definitely think there's better ways to do it. So that's why I think it's at the bottom tier. Ghost Ogre. I definitely think Ghost Ogre is a very powerful card. However, not a lot of decks are running 3 copies of this card. The most that I'm seeing is like 2 copies. And for good reason, it's a once per turn effect. And that card already has to be face up on the field in order to resolve. So personally, it's not top tier, but it's definitely on the brink of being at least high tier. I would personally say it's probably at the top of B tier and maybe the lowest part of A tier. Ghost Bell. I don't think Ghost Bell is in the right place right now. There's not a lot of decks that really could abuse special summoning from the graveyard or banishing. The only thing that could really come to mind is Malice, and even then, there are far better hand traps to use to stop Malice than just one Ghost Spell, who's once per turn. Because of that, I definitely think that it's in the C tier. Maybe the higher end could be good in some matchups, but those matchups are just too niche, or the situations, and maybe very far in between. Effect Veiler. I mean, this card's a classic, right? It's very, very powerful, not once per turn, can't be played under Shifter, and could only be used on your opponent's turn. But the fact that it's not once per turn is freaking crazy. I mean, it's definitely like A tier, tippy top of A tier, and also it could activate thrusts and talents. So I would say probably A tier, maybe the lower end of S tier. Infinite Impermanence. I mean, there's not really much to say. This card's broken. Doesn't trigger talents, doesn't trigger thrust, not once per turn, usable on your turn and your opponent's turn. Like, what more do you want from a hand trap? Contact C. I definitely think that Contact C is in a lot better place at the moment. Back in previous formats like Snake Eyes, they could just use whatever monster, then go into a Link, go into IP, go into Hita. It doesn't really matter, right? But now that yugioh is on the field, and they lock themselves into rank 4s, so if they do lock themselves and then you drop this on them, they're not going to be able to play their game. So I definitely think it's powerful. Where like in Malice, it's not super strong because they could just link it off. They just need to have a Malice monster good to go into their extra deck. So because of that, I definitely think it's like at least top tier right now, and it's very usable. But I would definitely say maybe it's the lower end of A tier. It's great in the situations that it's good in, but it's not too great in the situations that it's bad in. Nibiru. I personally think that this hand trap went up the tier list a lot after the ban list. Reason being is because of Tenpai. Tenpai did not care for Nibiru in any kind of capacity, and they would never summon more than 5 monsters during their main phase. This hand trap just rots in your hand because of that. Also good against Snake Eyes and stuff, but they would just continue to build after they would get Nibiru'd, or set up to get Nibiru'd and then just continue the combo like nothing happened. Now that those decks have been nerfed, other people on the field like yugioh plays into it. Also, Malice plays into it, but you do have like Dominus Impulse running around, and it may stop it. But that would also mean that your opponent would have to control the card and Nibiru at the same time. It's very unlikely that that were to happen, but I definitely think this card is strong right now because of those decks getting nerfed. And I definitely think it is in the upper tier right here in this area. DD Crow. It ain't it, Chief. Yeah. We don't want to banish anything right now because Malice is just going to abuse. yugioh could really care less about Shifter. What makes you think they're going to care about DD Crow? Yeah, I'm sorry, Chief. I love DD Crow, man. I love the art of DD Crow, but it hurts me to put him this low right now. Shifter. Yeah. One of the best decks in the format could really use this card, and it sucks. It sucks that that deck did become a Shifter deck, and I didn't want it to. When I went into my Malice breakdown, which you guys could check out, I was talking about I hope Malice just doesn't become a Shifter deck, but it's looking like it's potentially just going to become a Shifter deck. And it's so annoying. I'm just tired of Shifter. But it be what it be. That's how the game is. I mean, come on. If this card is any less than any of these hand traps, you are literally smoking crack. I would probably put this card up here because one of the decks that really used this card well was Tenpai. And that was probably one of the most annoying things. It can mess up if you're playing the deck that just maybe doesn't want to really drop it, but doesn't mind too much if it does. It's such a powerful hand trap. I would probably say it's like S tier. It's just so strong. Gamma. This card is powerful, man. It really, really is. Monster effect. destroy, negate, but it's a one of, so I would probably put it like right here in like top of B tier, almost high tier, because it's just such a powerful card, but like you have to draw the card. If your deck is thin enough, maybe you'll see it. Delta. Same thing as Gamma, right? Needs to play the brick, but at least this card is at 3. I definitely think this card is super, super freaking powerful, especially in a format where they're just dropping spell card after spell card after spell card. And I never see this card to be low tier, in my personal opinion. I definitely think it's in the high tier, maybe towards the end, but this card could drop Talons, could drop Thrust, Raigeki, Duster, Cosmic Cyclone, anything, it could really negate it. So because of that, I think it's just too powerful to like leave into B tier, C tier. If Gamma was at 3, this would definitely be in top tier, A tier, in my personal opinion. Draw is extremely powerful right now. For example, it's really good against Malice, really good against Ryzeal, really good against Yubel, even though that deck is like kind of falling out of favor a little bit because of the hit on the ban list with Phantom. On top of that, it counters one of the more powerful hand traps, or 2 of the more powerful hand traps, the Molchummies. Because of that, I definitely think that it is currently top tier right now. I think it's in a really good place. And by my personal opinion, Impulse. I mean, this card is freaking powerful, man. I don't know how else to put it. It stops a summon, and it can be activated from your hand, and it destroys a card that it negates if you have a trap card in your grave. Is an infinite impermanence a trap card? It does lock you out of some archetypes for the rest of the turn, but I mean, who really cares, bruh? Like, this card is just too powerful. I definitely think it is in the upper echelon. And on top of that, I didn't even mention this, it doesn't trigger Talons or Thrust. This card is extremely powerful. If you play the right deck, you don't care about the restriction because it doesn't matter, Chief. We're going to kill anyways. I definitely think this card is top tier. Purge. Man, this one's a little bit trickier. The effect is amazing, right? Like adding, and then you just negate it. Same thing as Purge, but it locks you out of fire, dark, and I think wind monsters. I can't remember the last one. Oh, it's earth, right? Yeah. So in the right deck, you don't really care about it, but that deck that it can play in, it like Cash Fiendsmith, it's great, and it's a strong deck in the deck I'm currently playing in, but I think that you need the extra deck Dark Monsters a lot more than you would ever need this card. In my personal opinion, I don't think the card is bad, but I think the restriction archetype is just not good. Because of that, I definitely think it's like in the same boat as like Delta. It's strong and it has a very powerful effect, but it's just the restrictions on it are just so hard. Skullmeister, yeah. Let's just put him there. Obviously, Malice is one of the newer decks and a very powerful deck at that. Lancia is just a direct counter to that archetype. You drop it on their turn, they're not going to be playing the game at all. So I definitely think because of that, it really rises up the ranks. Or if you would ask about this card a couple months back before Malice was even announced, it would probably be in like C tier, maybe D tier. It just, there wasn't like a place that was really applicable, and the places where it was were too niche. But because of the rise of Malice, I definitely think it goes up in the ranks. I definitely think it's in like A tier, or B tier, excuse me. Like it's high tier, but not like top tier, nor is it like meta defining. It's strong, just like Spooky Dogwood and like Gamma, but its only places being used is in against Malice. Not that that deck isn't like super popular and it's not all, like dang near tier 0. I just don't think it's enough, right? In my personal opinion. And again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I know this may be a hot take, but I don't think I'm convinced that Lancia could just stop Malice. I definitely think Malice could play through it. And because of that, I don't think it's like that higher up. The Molchummy Prulia. If not here, then like right here. This card is freaking busted, man. It could play under Shifter. Could also be dropped in the draw phase. Also really good against arguably the best deck in the current format, being Ryzeal. Come on, bruh. It's crazy that like I think a couple of months ago, before Ryzeal dropped, this card was like a $40 to like $30 card. It skyrocketed to 80 because of the format. It's so freaking insane. So shout out to those who held their Molchummies. I was one of them, and I'm glad that I did because this card is expensive now. But yeah, really good against the best deck in the format. really good card. Draws you cards. Could play under restrictions like Shifter, which are really popular. Yeah, top tier for sure, bro. Yo, shout out to everyone in the chat, bruh. We got it, man. This is getting reprinted in Stampede, I think. Whatever new Rarity collection set is coming out. We did it, boys. But if Melchummy Perulia is top tier, you know Fuwalos is top tier. I think right now, Fuwalos is a little lower tier than Perulia because of the Raziel, but they're like damn near like on the same playing field. I would probably even do this. Yeah, they're way better than the Impulse. Like right here, these are like interchangeable. You know what? I'll probably even put them like up here, man. They're just that powerful, right? Like they will literally stop your opponent from playing the game. The Bystials, man, they're in a really, really good space right now. Reason being is because they work well with the Malice cards that want to be banished, and then they become combo pieces themselves. It's just insane. So I definitely think that the Bystials right now are good. And even in rogue matchups, like they're really, really strong. They're big bodies. They just banish cards. And then you have a very powerful card like Regain that works. Such a good card. I think one of the best cards in the game right now, in my opinion. But yeah, I definitely think that this card is top tier. I would probably put it in somewhere in this area between like Valor, Mourner, and Ogre. I'd probably put it like right here in this area. It's just really, really powerful. And then we got double Phantasme. I'm going to pick this one. Yeah, I definitely think that Phantasme is still a good card, but I think it's fallen out of favor. The reason being is the main usage of the card was like counteracting Little Knight. And because Little Knight, not that that card is falling out of favor, it's just like the combo line to go into Little Knight is falling out of favor. Right, like people would use IP Masquerena to go with Flame Birch to go into IP or into Little Knight, and then just banish something, and then you could just drop this, right? Again, not that it's bad. I just think there's a better card for it. So I definitely think that like Phantasme, because of Snake Eyes dropping, it dropped a bit. I definitely think that it's like right here. It's still very strong, but I would say it's like at the top of like mid tier. Okay, guys, so that is my tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you guys disagree with me. If you agree with me, what hot take did I have? What take you just did not care about and you thought I was wrong? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. But hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Winster, and I'll check you guys out later. Peace out, guys.